Hello everybody. In this video, we'll try to understand some more interesting things about Mula Nakshatra. See, Mula is a Ketu Nakshatra. All Ketu Nakshatras are about individualization. It's about, self. Because Ketu is headless, so they're more focused on that particular individualization. They want to have that head, head, longing for self, individualization. So that individualization is at its peaks in Mula Nakshatra. See, the completed individual seeks experiences beyond the domain of ego and self-centeredness. So this individualization, once it is achieved, they would want to see the world beyond the self-centeredness. See, Mula is quite a proud and haughty nakshatra, and Mula natives are unable to comprehend their own power and abilities. So in some cases, of course, it is a good thing, as their ability to inflict damage upon themselves and others is restricted by their ignorance. So Mula has that dreadfulness associated with it, and because of this ignorance, that is, unable to understand their own power and abilities, is a bit helpful only for them, because if they know about their power and abilities more, they would even destroy themselves and others more. Basically speaking, it's a dreadful and demonic nakshatra, and that side of it comes from the negative functioning of Ketu in its lower aspects. So if you have moon in Mula Nakshatra, a Ketu's dignity is very, very important. If your Ketu's dignity is not so good, then the dreadful and demonic side of this nakshatra is more seen. It is a powerful nakshatra which can give domination and lordship for the native, right? It has that nature. Mula has the nature of giving power, giving domination, giving lordship. How much it is going to give? How much is it going to give? It would stop you to become, it would stop the moment you become a kind of a powerful person in the family, or it would stop the moment you become kind of a member of legislative assembly, or it would stop the moment you become chairman of some institute or some organization, or it would stop the moment you become a very great officer in your domain, or it would stop the moment you acquire power over some community. Where it stops and when it stops, it depends upon your other planetary positions, especially Ketu, and of course Jupiter, and of course how you destroy your own position depends upon Mars and Sun. So that's why for Mula natives, it's a very good thing that you need to check the whole horoscope. But Mula energy has a power, has the capacity to give power, domination and lordship to the native. So this particular, Mula Nakshatra also has the power to give ego, vanity, arrogance as well out of that power and lordship. So because of that, that would make the native to do some demonic actions as well. If you observe the ancient, the Indian Puranic stories, Ravana and Kamsa, these two people have Mula energy, more Mula energy. Ravana is the villain in Ramayana and Kamsa is the villain in Mahabharata, right? So they started harassing and killing without discrimination after gaining influence and power, right? So, but Mula gives power and lordship to the native. How much it gives, it is depending upon other planetary positions. But once it gives the power and domination to the person, to the native, then most of the times he harasses the people. That's where the understanding part of Mula is very much important, as we discussed in our previous video. So this nakshatra can give power and influence, because see, once Jesta is completed, Mula is coming into the picture, right? But Jesta, what we have seen, Jesta's deity is Indra. Indra means he achieved power. He did a lot of things. When you become Indra, after doing a lot of penance and after applying a lot of tricks, after a lot of mischievous things, right? And Indra's behavior, he does a lot of mischievous things and all, and everything is done with those mischievous things. He achieves more and more power. Now Mula comes into the picture. So Mula automatically can give power to the native, but how much it gives? Let us say a person having let us say the person has moon in Mula, but some planet is not good. If that person is able to make the other planet better, yes, he would get power. Mula people have the more energy to get power, but once they achieve power, they may misuse it. They may use it to harass the people. That is a different story, but they have the energy to get the power. You got it? So if Mula native can correct the planetary energies with some techniques, yes, he can achieve power. Now, so this particular Mula Nakshatra is something like it has the energy to give power. It has the energy of material accomplishment as well. And among the body parts, it relates to the feet, because it has the capacity to take heavy responsibility. So the Mula Nakshatra, right? See, feet take up the load of the body, right? So similarly, Mula energy can take heavy responsibility. This nakshatra symbolism we discussed, it's tied roots, and it helps one put together in a meaningful way one's talents. All your talents, all the Mula native's talents can be put together, and he can achieve more power, right? And the talents, most of the times he might have developed in his past lives. See, and based on the other planetary positions, as we discussed in our previous video, if the other planetary positions are very good, let us say Jupiter is very good, then Mula person can be very moral as well. He would not harass the people once he achieves the power. So that's what I want to tell again and again. For a Mula person to judge the whole energy, you need to check the horoscope, and it is a magical nakshatra, I would say, right? So the magical nakshatra that can give power, and with that power the native can help those in need in magical ways. And also, if it is working in its lowest levels, yes, he can harass the people just like Ravana and Kamsa. So this nakshatra gives both good or bad results in a very, very explosive way. That is the main thing, because it's a very powerful nakshatra, and it is usually triumphant in all sorts of warfare. But a downfall does take place at some point of time. So Mula gives a lot, but again, the downfall, the person can definitely see downfall at some point of time. Natives with Mula relating to, you know, uh, ascendant also can experience this kind of energies. And if they are heavily, highly evolved souls, then that is a good thing for the society. But if they are not, then they would also harass the people around them. So they usually display one form of arrogance or the other in their dealings with others. The kind of approach they follow, you can clearly observe the kind of arrogance. And sarcasm and boldness, reservedness, these are all also you can see in the Mula people. And there is a tendency to overtly dramatize or underplay situations. So Mula natives have peculiar ways of looking at any given situation. You know, so a degree of over eagerness is seen when it comes to taking drastic actions or measures to resolve situations or problems. So their special talent lies in getting to the root of any matter, and at any matter they try to go to the root without any unnecessary beating around the bush. See, this particular straightforwardness, this particular direct approach lands them in trouble when their judgment is not so good, right? So too much of direct approach is not good, and they have to take care on this. Mula is considered to be an active nakshatra. See, Mula is essentially a seeker on all planes of existence. So just like the sign Sagittarius, it is very proactive in this seeking. So it is its active nature which makes Mula more scary in comparison to other demonic and tamasic nakshatras. So Mula doesn't waste too much time in converting thoughts into actions. Generally, Ketu nakshatras, they do not take much time to convert thoughts into actions. See, most of Mula's activities like death or fear, not many people are able to creatively harness its active energies, basically. But it has a lot of active energy associated with it. And it belongs to butcher caste, so this is just because of Mula's destructive quality. It is Mula's job to cut away anything which has outlived its usefulness. That is Mula basically. Once it is outlived, once it is not at all useful, cut it off. That's kind of behavior you can say in Mula. See, there are different types of butchery if you observe. See, cutting up animals, cutting up demons, cutting up your desires, your attachments. So at what level it is working on, that is very important. So for that, whole horoscope is to be checked. We can see that there is a sense of right and wrong with related to this particular butchery, and cutting off all the unnecessary desires and seeking spirituality is a very good thing, right? Whereas cutting off the relationships and all is a kind of a good relationship, or um, you know it's a kind of bad thing. And obviously we can see that there is a sense of right and wrong related to Mula. At what level it is working on is very much important, right? And it is a neutral nakshatra as well, as far as gender is concerned, because Mula is the center of our galaxy. So right, the center of galaxy and the root of all the things cannot be gender biased, so it's a kind of neutral nakshatra. Among the body parts, if you observe, it relates to the feet, which emphasizes its capacity to take heavy responsibility, just as the feet take up the load of the whole body, as we discussed previously. And it also relates to the left side of the torso. It's primarily a Vata nakshatra, but it's also considered as a Pitta, that is fiery nakshatra, because of its association with this Jupiter and the Sagittarius, Ketu, all this. Right? It's a kind of fiery, that's but secondary, but primarily it is an airy nakshatra because it's related to death, which is related to the process of air flow, and that process of air flow is basically taken as airy nature. So in Ayurveda it is considered as primarily that is Vata or airy nakshatra, and secondarily uh, Pitta or fiery nakshatra as well. It's related to southwest, that is Nairuti, and then northwest, Vayuya, and then northeast, that is Easanya, and then east directions. And of course, it is related to the center as well because it lies in the center of our galaxy. And if you observe different padas of this particular nakshatra, the first pada of this nakshatra ranges from 0 degrees of Sagittarius to 3 degree 20 minutes of Sagittarius, and it falls in Aries Navamsha. So whenever a planet is present in Mula first pada, it goes to a sign Aries in the Navamsha chakra. So this pada is very much into deep searches and probes because Aries is ruled by Mars. Mars is also about this, this kind of behavior. So this deep searches and probes you can see in Mula first pada. And these can take place on material or spiritual planes depending upon the evolutionary status of the Mula nakshatra in the horoscope. Deep search, that is Mula. And the outlook here is hopeful and optimistic if Ketu is well placed, and a certain degree of ego and self-centeredness is very much seen in this pada, right? When it is working through lower aspect, you can only see a kind of ego and self-centeredness. The planets, especially moon, when placed in this pada, are supposed to be harmful for the well-being of the father. Sun, Jupiter, Mars and Ketu are very strong here. And Mula first pada, if you observe, it is the Gandanta pada. It's just starting the fiery sign, just after the watery sign Scorpio. Lot of karmic baggage associated with it to some extent, you can say for sure. Deep search is the main theme of this particular Mula Nakshatra first pada. Ego and self-centeredness is another thing you can observe. And mainly, the evolutionary aspect of Mula has to be checked based on the other planetary positions. And the second pada ranges from 3 degree 20 minutes of Sagittarius to 6 degree 40 minutes of Sagittarius, and it falls in Taurus Navamsha ruled by Venus. So whenever a planet is present in Mula's second pada, it goes to Taurus in the Navamsha chakra. And this pada has both occult and material implications. It can make one hardworking while pursuing material objectives. So they try to look beyond material basically. This is a kind of as a Mula second pada is a kind of occult and material, but they always want to see something beyond material. A certain creative spark is seen when it comes to arts, music, and other Venusian pursuits here. Planets here usually cause some sort of strife and obstacles, so better they do some kind of propitiations, because they give bad results to, for mother's well-being. Generally it is said, Mula second pada. The strife and obstacle stuff is very much prominent in Mula too. They have to do some propitiations for sure, and Jupiter, Mars, Moon, and Venus do well here generally. Main positive is their occult and material implications are very good. They can see the things beyond materialism. They are, if they try, they can be good in arts, music, and any Venusian pursuit. They can do well, basically. And the third pada of Mula ranges from 6 degree 40 minutes to 10 degree of Sagittarius, and it falls in Gemini Navamsha, a mercurial energy. Whenever a planet is present in Mula 3, that Mula 3 planet will go to Gemini in the Navamsha chakra, and this is all related to wordplay. Wordplay, the kind of words they use. It's mainly related to words they use, because it's the most lightest among all the Mula padas, and here they mainly focus on communication, wordplay, and relationships. And Mula's need for domination is transferred into its intellectual plane here. They're treated as intellectuals. If their Mercury is very good, Mula 3 people can become great scientists as well. And at their best, planets here can create a balance between material and spiritual values as well. So, but the only thing is, this pada is a bit against money and material acquisition of that sorts. So afflicted planets here can cause a very big poverty for them. If there is any afflicted planet in Mula 3, then the person would become very poor. Jupiter, Mercury, Rahu, Ketu, these can give very good results generally. But if Mula 3 is afflicted, anyways, they do not have much passion about money. If some afflicted planet is present, and they become more poor. Maybe out of their poverty they want some money, but it's not a very good for very good pada for materialism and all. But they can become, this communication, wordplay, and relationship. They can earn through their words, the type of, and they are very intellectuals. So in my opinion, they can become very, great teachers. Can be, because the communication and wordplay, they use very, very intelligently. Basically, intellectuals in Mula, all Mula 3 is intellectual. But of course, the money side, they have to check their second house dignity, 11th house dignity, 7th house dignity, 10th house dignity. They have to check. Otherwise, Mula 3, they have a tendency to become poor. Because they are against money and material acquisition. That is the bad thing, right? They have that much of communication and intellectual skills, and they are not utilizing them to make money. That's a very bad thing. And Mula 4 ranges from 10 degrees of Sagittarius to 13 degree 20 minutes of Sagittarius, and falls in Cancer Navamsha ruled by Moon. So when a planet is present in Mula 4 in your Rashi Chakra, the planet goes to Cancer in the Navamsha Chakra, and this is the most struggling pada. Emotional struggle, constant struggle in emotions. See, the emotional nature is too easily disturbed in this pada. Very delicate. The emotions, Mula 4 person's emotions are something like Oh my god, you cannot bear it. See, the best option for the natives under the strong influence of this pada is to sacrifice their emotions for higher goals. Leave your emotions. Mula 4. Even according to ancient astrology, ancient Vedic literature, this pada is harmful for the general well-being of the native itself. The person has to perform some propitiations, right? Otherwise he cannot utilize his own energy properly, because all his energy is going into that emotional struggle only. Jupiter is the only planet which is, which is a good planet for Mula 4. Otherwise, because see, Jupiter will go to Cancer in the Navamsha, so it exalts there. That's why Jupiter is the only planet good for Mula 4. Other planets, they cannot do well here. They have to perform propitiations. They have to check their emotional, struggle. How they are driving their emotions. They are constant or not. They have to check it. And they have to get that understanding to become a very much balanced in their emotions. So they see, they have to first they have to be calm and check their emotions, how they are driving the emotions, right? They have to stabilize. For that, they have to seek God's help for sure. And please contact me for propitiations, Mula 4, right? I'm dropping my email ID, right? So this is about Mula. See, we talked about Mula in the first video a lot. So in this video, I just talked some interesting things. The padas I talked about, and Mula 4, I talked about the propitiations, right? Mula 1, 2, 3, I said 3 is like for poverty. If Mula 3 is suffering from poverty, then 2, 7, 10, 11 houses, check them and do some remedies. Otherwise the poverty will not go for Mula 3. And Mula 2, the Venetian pursuits, you need to check, right? So Mula 1, the direction in your life, you need to check. Thanks for watching this video. And Mula people, if you are facing problems, please contact me on my email ID for consultation. Thank you.